what he could do for us.
All right, so you
I
don't.
knew it wasn't going to be much because they already said they were going to chop him off at the knees, but he did what he could do, right?
Well,
And it makes us proud being, I don't know about you, but it makes me proud being an African American to know that we can hold a job at the highest level.
it should make every American in this country proud to know that anybody can reach the highest level. I got to move it on, though, Twin Mom. Good to have you on for the first time.
All right, thanks for having me. Because if I had to come on anybody's show, it had to be yours because yours is more open-minded. All that back and forth arguing and stuff, that's not me. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Don't be a stranger. Come on back anytime.
All right, thanks.
Good talk. All right, moving the program on. Always good to have a new guest as well. Certainly good dialogue there. Looking in the comments, though, please tell me one thing he has done. Now, that came from, what does that say, Mojavistan or something like that? You're asking, that came in reference to Trump when she was suggesting that Trump may not be racist, but the racists think he's racist or whatever. And you ask, well, show me something that Trump has did. In my opinion, I believe that if you support, let's say, Trump, even if he says something that many in the minority community views as intolerant, you're just probably going to disagree with it. I'll tell you right off the bat, Trump has certainly said things that are, at the very least, a portrayal of black people in a very poor light. In a very poor light. Is it racist? We can debate that, but it wasn't true. Some of the stuff he says is not even true. I got a video on YouTube under the Handsome Liberal titled "Trump is not a racist," and it covers some of the things he said. Because folks say he's not a racist, but it covers some of the things and leaves it up to you to judge. One being him tweeting out a video of somebody yelling "white power." Why would he do that? You say, what? Why? There is no context, no benefit, nothing to add in the video. It's just some dude walking down the street or driving some kind of golf cart yelling "white power." Why would he tweet that out? And if folks, I understand a lot of folks don't believe that is, racist or intolerant, but what is the purpose of it, though? What is the purpose of a president tweeting out a video of somebody yelling out "white power"? I don't get that. Call it racist, call it not, whatever the case may be, but give me the explanation of what was the purpose of that. And then, of course, I mentioned the video of him stating that, or tweeting out, retweeting. Can we talk about Biden? Vote for me and you ain't black, and Biden, I don't want my kids growing up in a racial jungle. Or some people bring up his affiliation with Senator Byrd. We talk about it all the time. But yeah, I mentioned, Trump tweeting out that blacks are responsible for 81% of white homicides. We've covered it on the program, but he asked, what has Trump ever did to make people suspicious? He tweeted out that black people are responsible for 81% of white homicides, essentially saying that black people are killing whites wholesale. Now, he's on Bill O'Reilly, and Bill O'Reilly corrects him and says, even Bill O'Reilly says, it bothered me that you would even tweet this out. He said it's actually 15% according to the FBI. Fact is, blacks generally kill black people. That's who you're near. Whites kill whites. That's who you're near. People tend to commit homicides of opportunity. I mean, you don't have black people jumping in the car and driving from Chicago to Idaho to murder a bunch of white people. That's not how it works. So him tweeting out that blacks are responsible for 81% of the white homicides, which essentially says if you are white and you're ever the victim of a homicide, chances are it's a black person that took your life. It don't have to be called racist, but damn, that makes black people look pretty fucking violent and bad. And considering that the actual number is 15%, as opposed to him tweeting out 81%, it does leave some questions to be asked. As we often state, there was no apology, no correction, or anything issued. Is it racist? I don't know. But it obviously makes black people look really, really bad. If I'm white and I don't have any black friends or associates, and I believe what the president has tweeted out, If I see some black people coming down the street towards me, I'm either cross over to the other side or put my hand on my gun. Because if I'm ever murdered, chances are it's a black person that did it. According to this tweet, is it racist? I don't know. But I have to also ask, in addition to how you view it, what's the purpose of sending it out? It's very similar to the white power video. What is the purpose of sending out a tweet that black people are murdering whites wholesale? What is the aim of doing that? It was never explained or anything. So when we say, has he done anything that's racially suspicious? I would at least want to know, why would he do that? Anyway, looking in the comments, you have a hat on your roof. I appreciate that. He's former cop now, conservative YouTuber. I don't know who you're talking about there. Oh, do you watch Candace Owens? I've watched Candace. I've certainly watched plenty of Candace Owens material. I love her also, Officer Tatum. I've watched Tatum. I've watched Colin Neor from the NRA. Who else? I mean, there's a ton of African-American conservative bloggers. I watch a lot of it. I certainly am familiar. The Hodge twins is another one, I believe. I've watched them. Continuing on with the program, though. And Greenlight Mindset, I don't mind you having your comments. I don't block, ban, or censor anything, but typing the same thing over and over again can definitely cause me to ban you. Do you mean coon dance? You're saying Candace Owens coon dance? Oh my goodness. All right, let me go back to the box. Appreciate you folks on YouTube that are still riding with the program. I had to reset the device. YouTube went down. That normally doesn't happen. Going back to the box, though, we'll continue on with Top Dog, a subscriber to the program. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Have you watched Roland Martin? I do watch some Roland Martin. I do watch some of his stuff. He recently did a video on the Trump Detroit stuff. Top Dog, good afternoon.
What's going on, handsome?
Not much at all. So what do you think? Trump has been in the Bronx. He's been in Milwaukee. He's hanging around in Big D, Detroit. Is that not representative of a white man that wants to reach out to black people?
You know what he's doing? He's trying to get that black vote. That's what that is. He's gonna work for it.
Anything wrong with that?
I mean, he's a politician. He do what politicians do. You can't be mad at him, you know. Trump got he got a whole lot riding on this election than Biden.
What do you mean?
What I mean by that is, if I get elected, I can get them federal cases up out of here, and I can stall the rest out.
So you think Trump is running to save his own hide?
I mean, that too. He want to get some of that money back because he's gonna have, Truth Social. That stock right now went up to $79. Now that stock right now is $30 right now. People losing millions that invested with Trump. Yeah, I'm talking about the average people, not the billionaires and millionaires and hedge funds, but the average American savings. I mean, you can look at it online. People put their savings into it, and they're losing.
Yeah, I don't use X much. I mean, Truth Social much. I mean, in fact, I don't use X that much either. But I do use. The problem with Truth Social is that it was created because Twitter was banning and censoring folks, which we don't do that here. But once Trump created Truth, Elon bought Twitter, changed it to X, and removed the reason why so many people were leaving it. So he made X incredibly competitive to Truth Social because they were leaving because of the censorship. Elon Musk erased all the censorship. So yeah, Truth Social was a bad investment.
It was a hell of a bad investment. Bad investment, but that's one thing about Trump. He gonna mess a good thing up. Like the hotels, the liquor, the steaks, the college. I mean, Trump University. Trump know how to fuck some shit up, handsome.
You said the liquor, the steaks. You going down the line. I'm hearing the man is a good businessman, though.
Man, he been lucky in business. He was left some change from his father. And he took a lot of losses. He took a lot of losses, but he been lucky for shit. That's one of the reasons why he ran for president. So now his brand was already out there. But now that he became president, Trump known definitely around the world now. This was a money grab for Trump to take his brand that he dominated the United States. Let me take it to another level, and that's what he did.
You don't think Trump was already known globally?
Yeah, but I'm even more now.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He definitely was global, but it was a lot of people in the United States probably didn't know really who Trump was. Not a lot, but it probably was people just didn't know. Everybody know who he is now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I definitely agree with you. I agree with you.
Mexico really know who he is.
Well, it ain't favorable no more, but yeah, I do agree. I don't know, though, financially, you think Trump has benefited? Do you think Trump would have been better off where he was financially if he never ran for president, or do you think he's doing better now because he ran?
Well, he didn't expect all this bullshit he was going to have to go through. But
bullshit.
Like you said,
so you do think it's a witch hunt? You said bullshit.
No. Everything is on Trump is on Trump. But I'm saying just whatever he didn't expect all the negative stuff. He thought it was going to be like business where I step in office and I call the shots and this is what it is. But it don't work that way.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't a politician. So he came in the first time thinking this is like Trump International, and I'm sitting at the top, and what I say, if you don't agree with me, you get on up out of here.
Yeah, but I mean, do you view him as a successful politician? I mean, you mentioned the stakes, the university, the liquor. I mean, do you see him as just a failure?
I mean, I got to be honest with you. He won the biggest seat in the world, so you can't say he's a failure.
Right.
I mean, he did win in 2016. So you can't now his policies and things that came after that, but his name gonna go always down in history. Now this took his brand to the next level as the president. You know what I mean? He dominated. He did good business in certain areas. You know, he made his money. He was lucky.
I don't know. My opinion is this. I think if Trump had not run for president, he would be far more financially well off than having ran. And I also think that he has hurt his legacy pretty well. I mean, not only his own, when I say his legacy, I mean his whole family name is going to be associated with these last 7 or 8 years of his life while he was president. If you take away the last 7 or 8 years Trump has come on the scene as a politician, the rest of his life looks very damn favorable. Yeah, some people in New York didn't like him and he had a few lawsuits, but it's easy to quiet that stuff down. But when you have major issues as the president of the free world, you can't silence that. He's now in the history books, and a lot of it ain't good.
Right, you're right about that. But say he would have went in and had Obama economy and you know that went so good with no allegations, no backdoor bullshit. Mm-hmm. That would have took his name to a whole nother level.
I think you're missing something, in my opinion. Even if Trump gave us the best economy in the world and had great policies, which I know a lot of my beloved MAGA love, the problem is the name calling, the insults, the infighting. That stuff goes down in history. Obviously, the 34 felonies now we got on his official record. The fact that he had his home raided, he got a mugshot, he's got multiple indictments. That's part of his history now. None of that was around 8 or 9 years ago.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I mean, it's worth it, but like I said, when he went into it, though, he thought he was going to be good and take his brand to the next level.
Bro, yeah.
Now that he went through going through what he going through, he see like, nah. Trump even said it one time in an interview. They asked him what's one thing he regret. He said, run for president. Because look what he's going through. He didn't expect none of this. This is all like, this blowing his mind, too.
I don't think he would have had any of it. I think that, I mean, just like he wasn't expecting to be treated the way he's been dealing with, most of America was not expecting the name calling when he came on the scene. I think if Trump had came on the scene and been a dignified commander-in-chief, he could have did all of the same policies that he implemented, and he would still be in office right now, and I think his legacy would be much stronger. I think most of the negative aspects of Trump comes from the tweets, the insults, the name calling his mouth. I don't think even the liberals who despise Trump, most of the stuff they complain about has nothing to do with his policies. It's the name calling, tweets, and maybe the pandemic.
And that's my biggest issue with Trump. His mouth.
Yeah.
I don't like the disrespect. I don't like the way he talked to people. I don't like the way, you know, he like I said, he treated everything like it's his shit. That's how he try to run America like it's mine. I lost the election. I'm gonna do whatever I got to do to get it back on my side because it's mine.
Yeah. Well,
no, this is not Trump International. It's the USA. So that's his biggest problem. Yeah, it's not Trump's. He looking at it like, you know, he looking at it as it's his. No, it's not yours. That house, you just leasing that house for 4 years at the White House. You're not staying at. You can't buy that. So you ain't gonna be there that long.
All right, let's see. You may have 4 more years to go. I got it moving on top, dog. Appreciate you coming in here.
Appreciate it.
Anytime, man. Good talk. Anytime. And by the way, in the comments, someone disagreed with both me and the last caller and said, a Ravens 25 fan, Baltimore, huh? Says, no, Tim, you are wrong. Listen, at the end of the day, I will happily admit I don't have all the answers. If folks disagree with yours truly, you know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor. So we can disagree. We can agree to disagree. But I personally believe if you ask most liberals why they dislike Trump, it really is not how he ran the country legislatively. That's my opinion. Obviously, Ravens 25 fan disagrees. But I don't think liberals are bitching about $2 gas or 3.5% unemployment rate or the jobs numbers under Trump. It's generally what they refer to as the chaos. All of the other bullshit, the unnecessary stuff none of the stuff that folks are pissed off about is needed to run the country. None of it is making America great. It's that stuff. The name calling, the tweets, the insults, the infighting, all of that stuff. That's what most of the liberals, and of course the pandemic. I'm going to bring up the pandemic. A lot of people believe he handled the pandemic very poorly as well. But other than that, take away the pandemic and the name calling, I think Trump would be finishing his second term. And in the comments, what does that say? Shortest straw. Okay, you drew the shortest straw. Says false media. I don't disagree that the media has not helped Trump. But there is a such thing as right-wing media. I mean, look at all of the portrayals of Biden being a frail, weak man. I mean, the right-wing media is hammering that. That's media as well. So, yeah, there was media that went after Trump. I'm not going to disagree with that, but there's plenty of media going after Biden. I think, like my last caller was suggesting, maybe Trump didn't really know how the presidency works. The notion that I'm going to be president, I'm going to do what's great for America, and everybody's going to agree, and we all going to be hunky-dory. It doesn't work like that. I don't care what policies, what direction you're leading America in, there's going to be people that hate you. You can cure cancer. There's going to be somebody out there that hates you. The notion that Trump was expecting to run the country without any type of backlash or pushback shows naivety that can come when you elect somebody that's not a typical politician. Any politician knows that there are going to be people that don't like me. Every issue, every policy has two sides to it. Every policy there is. If you think you can become president and there's nobody going to speak up from the other side of whatever issue you're projecting on the country, then yeah, you are a naive politician. And I think that is one of the downfalls of electing somebody that's not a typical politician, is they don't know the rules. You know, Trump came in promising, I'm going to drain the swamp, I'm going to name names, and people went apeshit. Yay, that's what we need. Term limits, yay. As if you don't need any of the people that you're portraying to be criminal swamp creatures. You need them to actually implement your legislation. You're up there promising to drain the swamp, build a wall, and do all of these great things for America, as if you can do all of this without the people you're calling swamp creatures and all of these names. Without their help, you don't get this done. And that's the problem, is when you're not a typical politician, you don't realize that. You've just criticized all the people you need to meet all of the promises you gave at your last rally. Repeal and replace Obamacare. You're out here criticizing John McCain everywhere you get a chance to speak on him. You do realize you might need him when it comes to that whole repeal and replace thing, right? That's what happens. If you're not a typical politician, you don't know the rules. And it didn't work out. Anyhow, looking in the comments, Karen, what does that say? Corona Wolf says you're misinformed. MISS. Like Miss Alabama, misinformed. If I'm misinformed, please state how so. Maybe I am. I'm willing to concede the point, but you got to put it in there. Just yelling out you're misinformed is very similar to people who put in the clown emoji. Listen, we don't block, ban, or censor anybody. We invite dissenting opinion. You got a host that will take it on the chin. We'll read it out. We can debate it. We can discuss it, but I don't run from criticism. If you got criticism, type the damn criticism. Just yelling out you're misinformed doesn't mean anything. Going back to the box, we'll continue the program on with, I don't know what just happened there, but Backwoods 870. But Trump is at my house smoking a fat J right now. You smoking a doobie with Trump? Wow. What do you think, Backwoods? You think Trump would smoke a little bit of weed?
You know, he might need to. It might help him chill out a little bit.
Oh my God, I don't think so. I think Trump is, you know what they say, an old man gets set in his ways. I know I'm getting like that. Can't teach an old dog new tricks. He's pretty damn old at this point. So what do you think though? President Trump stating that, you know, when he was at a black church, you know, blacks reached out to him for protection, said we need the police and all. Do you see any validity in that?
I don't know. You were talking about like some of the ethnic groups and I think somebody had mentioned in the comments maybe the black on black crime and the white on white crime, and you were absolutely right in that people commit crimes against the people they're around. Whatever their social bubble is, you know, wherever they live. That's kind of how it happens. The one thing that's always concerned me, like the National Institute of Health put out a survey, and they do them every few years. But one of the things they noted was 33.6 per 100,000 African American persons, or 33.16 per 100,000 African American persons is a homicide rate for African Americans.
Wow.
At the same time, in that group is 3.3 per 100,000 for white persons. Now, even within that group, the disparity is even greater when you look at the age groups. When it's like
young black males,
15, age 15 to 25. Age 15 to 25. That's the number one cause of death in the African American community. Now, it's something that I don't have an answer for. I know it's probably gang culture related more than anything. It's probably drug culture related. Not to say those things don't exist in the white community just as much, even if not more in some instances. But there's a disparity there that people are, I think, socially sometimes afraid to address because you don't want to talk bad about a certain ethnic group. And I understand that and I have compassion for that. But at the same time, it's like, you know, that's if you're age 15 to 24 and you're African American, you live in an inner city, the greatest danger to you is somebody in your own culture, which goes along with what you already said. It's going to be the people that are around you. But it's why
do you? And I don't disagree that African Americans, particularly young black men between that 18 and probably 30 age range, that's where a lot of homicides take place. I'm not going to pretend like that's not true. But why do you think Trump would tweet out that blacks are killing white people wholesale?
Yeah, I think sometimes, I said from the very beginning, before he even was elected, that like somebody needed to take his Twitter account away from him or have somebody else run it for him. Because he is a very, I don't know how to put it. It just reacts immediately to things sometimes when he shouldn't, when it comes to Twitter. Now, tweeting that out, my guess is he probably saw it, thought, well, yeah, that's probably true, and tweeted it without doing any kind of background or any kind of research.
Yeah, but let's say even if it's true that black people are killing a whole bunch of white people, what is the purpose of putting that on your Twitter account as a presidential candidate and tweeting that to the people?
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that. That's just, if you notice it, and let's say, like you said, let's say it's true, and you notice it, let's maybe do some work to help stop that from happening versus trying to scare the crap out of people, by tweeting something like that out. I agree with you on that.
Now when somebody says that sending out something like that, not only completely being inaccurate, but also Not as you're admitting, there's no real legitimate justification to send it out in the first place, and then not apologizing or doing any type of correction. How would you view some African Americans seeing that and saying this shows dude is a racist?
Yeah, it's really hard to get behind any kind of argument against that. I mean, I will most likely vote for him this cycle. And there are many instances, and we live in a society now where I find it ironic that we live in a society that's trying, I believe, to become as progressive as possible,
right,
and as inclusive as possible. And ironically, we are put in a position where both sides, we have to vote for these really old white men that have no experience in social cultures that really would impact change in this country.
Right.
So, which I think is just, I find that ironic and sad at the same time. But nevertheless, that's where we are. And whichever side you're on, you're going to have to choose one or the other. But I brought up this point. I thought you might be able to appreciate this, is that the media itself, across the board, right and left, there's so billions and billions of dollars behind all this, and sell products and make money, and it's so powerful. Imagine if we had somebody in a leadership position, maybe the president, whoever it was, that could pull those media companies together and have them produce media that was positive and would pull people together versus pushing us all apart.
Well, the simple fact is there is no money in unity media. Now, I agree with you. That would be roses for us as a people. But who's going to pay those media outlets all the money and revenue they're losing out on?
Well, I'm a retired federal agent, and I work fraud, and we had a saying that's really common. If you want to know what's going wrong, follow the money.
Or if it bleeds, it leads is another one. But yeah, I like that one. I like that one. But yeah, there's no money in happy stories all day long.
Right, and that's why, like, the left a lot of times talks about, taxing the rich to a degree where it can help rebuild the middle class, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. But Trump even mentioned it in one of his Hillary Clinton debates, where it's like, the people that are giving the left the money, all the top billionaires on the left, they have influence. Whether you want to believe it or not, they have significant influence on that person. Yeah. Because it's like, hey, look, if you pass a law that's going to increase my tax rate, I'm not going to support you anymore. So the idea that it's all mega money right side people that are causing the problem, if the left creates a tax or wants, they won't do it. I mean, the bottom line is they'll never do it because it would take money out of their campaign pocket, because George Soros is going to be very upset. A lot of the, left side billionaires are never going to let them pass legislation that would take serious amounts of taxes from those elites on the side.
I gotta disagree with you vehemently, and I'll tell you why. When you say the left is never going to support taking money from rich people, California, where there's so many wealthy people located, all of Hollywood, has some of the highest taxes on the records. They are doing it. When you go to New York, another city in America where there's a ton of rich people, the taxes are sky high. In liberal cities, they are doing that.
One of the things to look at in those places is to see not only where is the lead company based, though. Now, in California, you got some entertainment companies that are based there, but you may have somebody that's doing business in California, but their headquarters may be in Texas.
Yeah,
this happens a lot.
Right, they're moving it. Yeah, but
don't pay taxes.
Yeah, but they're moving to Texas or South Dakota or Florida somewhere because they realize even if I'm rich, if I maintain my business in a liberal area, they're going to tax me. That's why they're moving to Texas in these Republican states, is because in those states they don't get taxed.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and that's you see. Every time you turn around, there's another article about some celebrity that's moving to Texas or Arizona or somewhere that, has lower tax rates. The city of Austin, which is a progressive city in Texas, has exploded in the last 10 years in population. So,
yeah, but there's still a lot of liberals left behind in those liberal areas you're talking about. I mean, New York and California is not going to run out of rich people. I mean, fact is, if you got infinite wealth, the climate of California is going to be far more desirable than that hot ass shit down in Austin, Texas. So, I mean, they're going to stay there. I mean, you know, some of them don't mind paying the taxes because they got infinite wealth anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's, you know, there have been opportunities for the left, like the example in that debate was some $900 million tax deduction or something. She asked him if he took it. And he said, yeah, I took it, but so did all your donors. And, you know, if you don't like it, then change the law. You know, you've had opportunities.
I didn't like that answer. Yeah, Trump is basically saying, look, you know, you can't blame me. I'm using loopholes that are on the books. And then he became president, and he didn't change those loopholes either. The same loopholes he used to save money on taxes, those loopholes still exist after he's been president. He didn't federally get rid of those. I don't like, you know, somebody. It's like a killer saying, well, the law allowed me to get away with this. I mean, you're still a damn killer. I mean,
that might not be the best analogy, but you know, the one thing that's different about him is that he's going to continue as a businessman whenever his political career is over with.
Yeah.
So he's going to still want that. You know, as a businessman, he's still going to want it. So would any elite leftist billionaire. There are no leftist billionaires out there that said this $900 million tax deduction is available, and because I'm a good person, I'm just not going to take it. Those people don't exist. They all did.
Yeah.
Right,
I agree with that, but that goes to show you Trump is walking around talking about a two-tier system and all of that. Clearly, he's benefiting from a lot of it. I mean, that's why a lot of the lower class have an issue with the rich, because they're enjoying these huge tax cuts that the lower class will never be able to get. I mean, that's kind of wrong that you could be worth millions and pay zero in federal income tax. I mean, how is that right?
Well, I think the whole tax system in general really needs to be revamped. When my kids were probably freshmen in high school, I sat down with them and started explaining things that my parents never did: taxes, plan for retirement, all those kind of things. And when I explained to them and I showed them how much taxes were taken out of my check every year, they were like dumbfounded. You know, it's kids' logic, you know, but they were like innocent to the idea that the government would take that much money out of your paycheck. But so you're right. I don't disagree that something different needs to be done with the tax system. One, to make it more stable, and two, to make it more fair across the board.
Yeah, and clearly Trump, who promised to drain the swamp, he didn't do anything about that loophole. So not only did he enjoy it, when he became president, he didn't close it so that once he leaves, he and other wealthy people, liberals alike, can continue to enjoy it.
Right. No, I don't disagree. And like I said, I think if I put myself in his position, I'm like, okay, I've got this loophole. I can change it because I'm a good person, or I can say, well, you know what, I'm going to keep doing business after I leave here, so I kind of want to keep that, you know.
Then that means you're more focused on making money as opposed to the American people, because if you close that loophole that the rich are going through with their jets and yachts right through this huge loophole, that would provide a lot more money to the country that could help out folks like you and me. So what he did was defended his future wealth at the expense of us.
Well, I mean, that's not unusual in the political world at all. I mean, you're looking at senators and congressmen that make $175,000 a year and do 2 terms, and they're multimillionaires. You know, when you do the math on that, that doesn't add up. But you know, that money's coming from somewhere, and they're getting some huge tax breaks on all that.
Yeah, I gotta move it on. I don't disagree with you, but it just shows he's supposed to be the guy who drained the swamp, not became president and just joined him.
No, I don't disagree with you. Look, last thing I want to say is I go on these lives occasionally and listen to them left and right. And a lot of times, mostly what I see is there's a panel, and there'll be 3 or 4 people on one side, left and right. There'll be 3 or 4 people on one side, and they'll bring up one person who disagrees with them, and they all gang up on it.
I'm that person.
Yeah, you do it completely different. You don't cut people off. You're not rude to people. You're professional. I absolutely appreciate what you do, and I think you make some valid points on both sides. Keep doing what you're doing. I think you're changing people's minds out there.
I don't know about all that, but damn, I appreciate that. Flattery will get you everywhere, man. Come on back anytime. I'd like to hear that again. Backwoods? Appreciate it.
Great week. Thank you.
All right, and that is Backwoods, folks. Looking in the comments, what America needs is a born-again, spirit-filled man of God that has no respect of person, but will stand for the truth and right. We all talk a good game, but no action instead of trying to debunk truth. Terry Payne, I was brought up Christian, but I don't believe that America needs a man of God in the White House. I just don't, because I've said this on yesterday's broadcast. I know a lot of my beloved MAGA didn't necessarily agree with it. And fine, I don't mind dissension in the comments or folks who are critical. I don't block, ban, or censor anybody. By the way, tap the screen, get the likes on up to about 150,000. Still almost 700 of you in here. We had to reset the live on YouTube. Do appreciate you folks that tuned back in. The whole device had to be reset, but certainly smash that like button on YouTube. Get it up to about 25. I've said this before, and I know a lot of folks, particularly my God-fearing viewers, might not like this, but I don't believe God, religion, and freedom go hand in hand very well. I do believe, you could be Christian, you could be a God-fearing American, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe that gives you moral structure. There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't believe religion and freedom go hand in hand very well at all. Fact is, if you are religious, you're living your life for God. If you believe in freedom, you're living your life for you. Freedom is my ability to do whatever I want. If you're living your life for God, you don't have that ability. God doesn't want you doing whatever you want. God wants you doing what he wants you to do. That's not freedom, in my opinion. I know a lot of you folks may disagree, but in my opinion, if you're living your life for God, then no, you believe that if you don't live your life for God, there could be eternal punishments. Then you're living your life for him. You're not free. He's telling you what to do. You just are okay with it because you believe God is the salvation and will lead you to eternity, lead you to a really palatial, if I want to use the right word, a paradise. But at the end of the day, you are living your life for someone else. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. But that's what you want to do. I do believe freedom is doing what you as a person want to do, not following the orders or direction of somebody else. By the way, and I see in the comments, Magnum says God has nothing to do with government. It's not supposed to have anything to do with government. But in America, God has a lot to do with government. It's written right on the money. I mean, it's written on government state houses and shit. It has a lot to do with government. We live for God by our own free choice. You got it backwards, my man. If you live for God by your own free choice, then why do we often believe God touched somebody or controlled what they were going to do? God touched his heart. God put it in them to change it. Then you're not living by your own choice. So many folks who are religious believe that God is controlling people. If you believe that God did not control people, then you wouldn't pray. You're praying for assistance. I'm just going to say, there's nothing wrong with being religious. Damn it, I grew up religious most of my childhood. If you had asked me at a young age, what do you want to be when you grow up, I would have said a preacher. I don't have any problem with religion. My whole family is religious. I'm religious to a small degree. I got so many damn questions that don't make sense. It's kind of made me stray away. But at the end of the day, I don't believe religion and freedom goes hand in hand. Obviously, the LGBT community, women's freedoms, they don't go hand in hand with religion. I'm not just talking about abortion. A lot of religions don't even believe women should be able to work at all. I don't believe women, freedom and religion go hand in hand. I just don't. Looking in the comment, God lets us do what we want, but there are consequences. Then you're not doing what you want. I mean, if that's the case, you are free to go out and rob a bank, but there's consequences. Then you're not free to rob a bank. I don't get that one. Because you are in the world, you love the world. Is that a riddle? God put Biden in the White House. Here's my take on it. Before I go back to the box, and thank you folks for tapping the screen. Might be to get up over 150,000 likes if you let your thumbs not be lazy. Thank you for all the participation and tapping the screen, by the way. God putting Biden in the White House. As I stated, I'm not deeply devoted in terms of religion, but I think that's crazy. I think out of all of the things going on in this world, famine, starvation, illness, sickness, war, I don't think God would have enough. I don't think God would be focused enough to worry about who's going to be put in the White House. I mean, there's way more pressing things going on than who's in the White House. I mean, that's just my opinion. But yeah, I don't think God was going to be focusing on something like that. Looking in the comments, had nothing to do with God as people. Yeah, God needs to take them out there. Oh my God. Someone said God put Biden in the White House. And the response by A. Henry is that God needs to take him out there. Well, the man is 80-something years of age. He may be taken out by God soon. Wow. Crypto Kev. Good afternoon. God needs to take him out. That's funny. Crypto Kev. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. If the box lets him in. Trying to bring up Crypto Kev. He's right. You're still on this world. You love the world. Yeah. I think it's in you as a human being to love the world. And that's one of the questions, as I say, as I get older, I'm getting less and less religious because some things don't make sense. If the kingdom of heaven is such a desirable place to live, to be, to exist, and earth is so bad, why do we want to stay here? I mean, if I got sick or if I'm about to pass away, I would be happy. I'm about to go somewhere much better. Why do humans want to remain here? If they're given an option, they always want to be here as opposed to heaven. That part doesn't make sense to me. That's just my own observation. That's wow. Timothy 850 says, I'm ready to go right now. Well, you do know there is an option of making that happen, don't you? If you are a human being and you're ready to go to heaven right now and you think you will be granted entry into the kingdom of heaven, you do know you have an option of going there right now as we speak. You could be there before the end of this broadcast. So I'm letting you know it's in your hands. May the force be with you. Going back to the box. All right, we'll continue on. My last guest did not come through, so we'll try it on with Tim the Patriot. Always happy to hear from the Patriots, of course. Stop, Tim says Black Power. Tim, wait a minute. Tim, you violating Twitter rules. Well, I'm not on Twitter, so I gotta violate the rules of Twitter. I said there's an option for you to get to heaven. Who's to suggest I wasn't talking about praying and begging the Lord for forgiveness? Get your mind out of the gutter of taking your own life. Going back to he can't do that. It's no heaven if you do that. I thought God forgives. God, listen, I've been struggling. You know I'm addicted, or you know I'm depressed. Whatever the case may be, you know on heaven, God, forgive my earthly ways. I wanted to come to you and see you face to face. I couldn't take it no more, Lord. I thought he forgives. I thought no matter what you do, as long as you confess your sins to the Lord, you'd be granted entry into the kingdom of heaven. You got people who have become serial killers, found the Lord while incarcerated and believe they will be granted access to the kingdom of heaven. If they could take out 10 people, why can't I take out me? When I get up there, I'll apologize and make it clear I believe in the Father as my true Savior. I just had to go. You know, maybe my baby mama kept calling me too much. Going back to the box. Appreciate you I confess I'm wacko, says Ben Carson. I'm having problems with the box. I am trying not to blow the head. I'm certainly trying to bring on guests, but I'm having issues. Biden is God. Damn. Supremacy, whatever that says. Biden is God? That ain't a good image of God, is it? God said, what do you want? It's done. Okay, really? I want $1 million right now. I would block me too. Let's see if we can bring up a guest. There we go. I would block me too. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, handsome. How you doing today?
I'm trying to get into the kingdom of heaven tonight.
Well, I mean, I'd rather you didn't do that.
Okay.
I like watching you live. I like having you around, and you matter.
Oh,
Don't do that.
I matter. Okay, I haven't heard that one in a while. So let me ask you: Biden just granted like a virtual amnesty almost to as many as 1 million undocumented residents. All you have to do is be married to an American, and you're in this country. You could be granted a path towards residency. Do you think he did a good thing?
Do I think he did a good thing? I'm not sure. I think he did a thing. I think he did something. You know, I believe he's trying to be pragmatic about this. You know, and why split up families any farther? Okay, you know me. I've been here before. You know I'm MAGA. But at the same time, man, you have to find some compassion somewhere. And
Wow.
I think this was a compassionate answer to part of a greater problem.
Wow. Now Trump is promising the largest deportation in history. Are you saying that his method will lack compassion?
Well, I mean, just because a method lacks compassion does not mean it's the wrong thing to do. Okay, you can do things that are the right thing to do, but it may lack compassion. You know, I mean, there is a problem right now with illegal immigration. Promising the biggest deportation, I don't know if that's the best answer right there. I think the best answer right now would be to control the hemorrhaging at the border. I mean, we need to get our own house in order. Both sides of the aisle need to shut the hell up, sit down in a room, and work this garbage out. Find a freaking answer.
Yeah,
everybody needs to be an adult about this, and nobody is.
Well, some would argue that Biden had got them to pass a bipartisan border bill, and then Trump intervened and stopped it.
Like I said, nobody wants to be adults about this.
Well, if Biden got
And that's both sides of the aisle.
But wait a minute, if Biden was able to get both sides of the aisle to come together with a bill, then he would have been the adult in the room. If Trump came along and then threw all of the cards off the table, it sounds like you have an issue with Trump.
Well, I mean, that would be a Trump issue. You're not wrong, okay? But like I said, everybody on both sides of the aisle. That means lottie-dottie everybody. Lock, stock, and
But
barrel.
that sounds like that happened. I would block me. It sounds like they all got together and did it, and Trump came along and stomped on the sandcastle.
And Trump would be part of everybody. He needs to grow up a little bit.
Aren't you voting for him?
Like, I'm going to vote for him, yeah. I believe that he is the best candidate available. But at the same time, I told you before, and I'll say it again, I don't agree with everything the man does. He's got his foibles. He's only a human being. He's not a god. He's imperfect. Just like you, just like me.
Yeah, but if you're saying we need to have an adult in the room to bring us together while admitting that this guy is not that, if you reelect him, doesn't that go against your wishes?
Well, I'm looking at policy here, okay? I'm looking farther down the line than just one issue. Okay, this is one issue. This is border security.
Right.
Okay, he threw a friggin' tantrum.
Okay.
If we're going to be 100% honest about it, that's what he did. He threw a tantrum, like you said. He turned over the table and knocked all the cards on the floor.
Right.
And I don't agree with that. Like you said, we had bipartisan legislation right there on the table, ready to be signed and enacted. But everybody said, we're going to go along with Trump on this one, and Trump threw a fucking fit.
Now you mentioned you favor Trump's policies. The audience wants to know, what policies are you talking about?
Mostly economic policies here. All right. getting our own house in order before we go ahead and try to get everybody else's house all cleaned up. You understand what I'm saying?
I kind of understand, but here's the issue I have with that. It sounds like you're talking about, America first as opposed to sending money to the Ukraine, Israel, or other places worldwide. The issue I have is this.
Oh, no. I'm talking more along the lines of excluding China from our economy as much as possible, bringing manufacturing back to America, making those jobs available to Americans.
I don't know. I mean, we had 4 years of Trump, and we didn't come close to that. I don't think he can do that in only 4 more years. I think maybe over the period of 8, he might have been able to do that with only 4 more years left. And we know when he says, I can't do anything when they're coming after me constantly, what did he say? I couldn't get anything done because they wouldn't give me a chance from day one. We know that's going to happen again. So you only got 4 years this time instead of 8. You're going to be in battles because not only are they going to be coming after you, but he's also promised to go after other people. I don't think you're going to get this stuff done.
We might not. There's really only one way to find out if we can, though, and that's to go ahead and try, right?
All right. And so the policies of Trump that gave us a better economy, give me an example of a policy.
Where he was trying to bring American manufacturing back, where he was starting to level more tariffs on Chinese products, trying to force out Chinese companies, trying to bring back American manufacturing. I forget exactly which one it was. You kind of caught me off guard on that a little bit.
Well, the audience wanted to know. Now, it's the difference between succeeding and trying, though. I mean, are you giving him a participation trophy for effort, or are you giving him? Are you acknowledging him for something he did successfully? Because trying is just trying.
Well, you're right. Trying is just trying. But like I said, we need everybody on both sides to grow up a little bit here. We need to stop attacking each other, and we need to figure out what's going to be best for the American people. It's the American people is who these people are supposed to serve. They're not supposed to serve everybody else in every other country. Every other country does not matter ahead of the American people. You're here to serve us.
I like what you're saying, but I guess the realism is in suggesting we need to come together and do what's best for us and stop attacking each other. You're voting for Trump. You do know that there is virtually no chance of that happening. Stop attacking each other, and your guy is Trump? Vivek, Ron DeSantis, why not one of the other people? In terms of attacking each other, you're absolutely going to get an accelerated amount of that with Trump back in the White House.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Vivek or DeSantis wound up being the GOP nominee, I'd go for them. I would, because honestly, I believe that either one of them have a much better chance of being able to work across the aisle than Trump. But right now, the way I'm seeing it is Trump is going to be the GOP nominee.
Right, that is true. But the wish that we stop attacking each other, that has to come from the top. You're not going to have an organized army with the generals being fucked up. Leadership has to come from the top, and you're not going to get any effort towards unity from Trump. We're expecting the people to unite with a divided leadership. That's just not going to happen.
Well, I mean, you've got people driving division at the top on both sides. You really do.
Yeah, but that's where
you have people from the Democratic Party telling you wherever you find Republicans, you form up, you push them out, you tell them you're not welcome here anymore.
But
come on, man.
But that's the point I'm making. If you are the president, you are at the very top of the pyramid. You are the one that should take the high road and go against that. You don't say, well, the other side. Everybody on the other side is lower than you. You're the guy at the top of the pyramid. If we're going to have unity, it has to start with you. not blaming other people on the other side for doing it. You're at the top.
Now, don't you think if people were with Trump and put the personal BS aside, we'd have been in a much better spot than we're in right now?
You broke up. Repeat that.
We would have been worse off.
You broke up. Repeat that.
I'm sorry. I'm getting into a really bad area right now, and I'm going to continue to break up. I apologize.
Okay. Just go. I'll drop you, but ask your question, and I'll answer it after you dropped off. What was your question again?
My question is, if everybody on both sides were able to put the personal BS aside and go ahead and work on policies for the American people, wouldn't we be in a much better spot than we are right now? Rather than focusing on the whole orange man bad, oh, he said this, so I'm going to attack him. I'm not going to let anything he's trying to do go through kind of mentality.
All right.
Wouldn't we be in a much better position than we are right now?
Okay, I'll answer your question on the other side. I would block me too. Come on back anytime. Good talk. Your signal's dropping, but I appreciate you coming in. All right, responding to his comment, would we be better? Essentially, he's saying if we ignored Trump's comments and insults, instead of trying to go back, as he say, orange man bad and things like that, would we be better off? I think the answer would probably be yes. If we just had a president that was insulting everybody in the country, ignored it, we probably would be a more unified country. But I don't see the benefit in ignoring a president that's doing that. As opposed to all of the people changing how they normally react to insults. We're talking millions of people, 350 million people. Instead of making the people change to ignore one guy, probably the best solution is to get rid of the one guy. I mean, I'm just simply saying, and I'm not saying it from a I love or I hate Trump standpoint, but you're essentially saying everybody else needs to change, but let this one guy keep doing that. There is no need in terms of making America great again. The insults have no play in that. You can make America a fantastic, outstanding, successful, and effective nation without all of that. None of that's necessary to run the country great. That's just personal indulgence. I enjoy, as some might say, liberal tears. Fuck your feelings. I enjoy bashing people. Okay, well, there is consequence. So while I agree with my last caller, it would unify us. It's kind of unrealistic. You're not going to go and bash hundreds of people and nobody respond in unison. That just doesn't happen. I could go around within my First Amendment free speech rights, totally legal to do so, call every cop I see a pig. It's 100% legal to do that. You think some cops wouldn't fuck with me? 100% legal. There's consequences, folks. There's consequences. You can't just go around saying things about anybody and expecting everybody to turn a blind eye. That could be me calling every cop a pig and saying, well, America would be better if cops just weren't so sensitive, weren't in their feelings. They should just let the citizens go around and yell insults to them. Legally, they have a right to do so. I wouldn't advise trying it. And that's what has happened with President Trump, is that he's kind of under the guise that I should be able to insult people and they should have skin that's thick enough that they should just let it happen. By the way, Trump doesn't have thick skin. I don't know why he believes everybody else should. Looking in the comments, I met Trump in 2005 and he was very nice, says Juan Moran. A lot of folks. I actually went to a Trump rally and he seemed very nice at the rally. I mean, I was only around the guy for about an hour, hour and a half, so I don't know. Don Barron, why aren't you wrong? Fox and Sky News do the same exact thing. And that is true. Fox News does exactly what MSNBC does. They just do it for the right. In fact, Fox News no longer even runs the moniker fair and balanced. It's not even on the screen anymore. They're pretty much in the camp for the right. I've been a big, before I go back to the box to see if it works, so the box has been having problems, but I've been a big Fox News watcher almost their entire existence. They came around in 96. I've been watching them heavy since 2003, back in the early Shep Smith days. Rupert Murdoch and all of those folks are still alive. Alan Combs was with Sean Hannity. I go back that far. I've met Sean Hannity in Fox. Not Sean Hannity, but Alan Combs. I met him in the Fox News studio. I was invited out there. But I will say, even from my own personal standpoint, I enjoyed watching Fox because even though they were kind of conservative, you got a good middle ground. They've went so far to the right that I don't even watch them as much anymore. It's just, it's not balanced anymore. It's just kind of like we like Trump, which is nothing wrong with that. But if I like Obama and Obama says something wrong, damn it, I should be willing to call it out. Fox doesn't do that. So it's like you can't sit here running a platform of criticizing MSNBC and CNN when you're clearly doing the same damn thing. So I kind of lost respect for him for that. Looking in the comments, though, everyone at Fox News is a multimillionaire and wants the Trump tax cuts. Well, I would assume everyone at all of the news networks got plenty of money. I get your point, though. Fox News is a controlled op. They don't call out what they should. A lot of networks do that. I'm not going to pretend like a lot of networks don't protect Biden as well, but Fox News is the one that walked around claiming to be fair and balanced. They're not. They didn't have to throw that out there. They could have did just like MSNBC doesn't hide that they're liberal. They don't go bragging that they're balanced. Why Fox would do that, I don't know. That's not true. They're not balanced. Kelly D, welcome to the program. Oh my God, Tim, how about ABC and CBS and CNN and on and on? ABC, CBS, and CNN, or ABC, CBS, and NBC are, I don't believe, NBC a little bit, but ABC and CBS, I don't believe all of the main networks are all way to the left like some folks say. Simply disagreeing with Trump doesn't make you a left-winger. Kelly D, good afternoon.
How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing good. We were asking a question about Biden essentially granting amnesty to what could be as many as 1 million undocumented residents. What say you?
Well, Reagan did it.
Are you there?
To millions of undocumented immigrants and fast track them to citizenship.
Wait, you broke up. What did you say in the beginning?
I said Reagan did the same thing.
Okay, but that's like 40 years ago. I mean, Biden doing it today, do you think it's a good idea?
Yeah, actually. I mean, this, I'm assuming everybody that came here would like to be a citizen. They're paying tax, if that's the case, they're paying taxes. But how do the cost of deporting them all is nothing we could handle.
Well, Trump is promising a mass deportation, largest deportation in U.S. history. He's promising to do that.
And that'll cost us tens of billions of dollars to do it. And it's really not possible. I mean, you know how long it would take?
I don't think he cares about the time. You say it's not financially possible. How much is it costing to let him stay?
Well, they inject billions and billions of dollars into our revenue, and they don't reap the benefits of it. So, not as much as you would think.
Now, I have someone on YouTube, Jeanette, says they don't pay taxes. You're saying that immigrants that are here undocumented do pay taxes?
What?
Yeah. They do. I mean, even if they're working under the table or using a phony name, somebody's taking, they do pay tax. I mean, they got to go buy stuff at the grocery store. Taxes is coming out of all of that stuff.
Well, they're paying rent. If they don't own a home, they're paying rent, and that rent is going towards school, it goes towards property taxes and
right.
School tax of their land.
The idea that anybody could navigate around America and not pay taxes is insane. I mean, immigrants, let's say you're living with an American and you help her put some gas in her car. There's a bunch of taxes coming out of that. Everything you do in America that involves financial transactions involves taxes.
Exactly.
Yeah. So But when he said, what Trump is also saying though, is this huh?
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, I think most of the reason people don't like that idea is they don't really want them to be. They say come the right way, but they don't want them to come the right way. They don't want them to be citizens. They don't want them to vote, obviously.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. I think come the right way, knowing the right way to come is almost impossible. And that under the Trump administration, they made coming the right way even more difficult. I do believe that folks are a bit hesitant to admit, if I had a choice, you wouldn't be to come here at all. So the phrase come the right way really means I really would rather you not be here.
I agree.
Yeah.
And, think about it. A lot of those countries, I mean, they're not just fleeing, gangs and, political asylum. A lot of them are fleeing their country because the climate has changed so much. They no longer get enough rain to grow food.
Yeah. Now, in the comments, speaking of what we were talking about earlier with taxes, Shonda Babson says they don't work. They don't pay taxes. So, 10 million immigrants, all of them are not working?
No, not all of them are working, but more of them are working percentage-wise than Americans, I bet you.
Yeah, I believe that.
For a while, and I never seen people that work so freaking hard.
Well, they got a hell of a lot more to prove. That's why they're working so hard.
Yeah, and that's the reason they're here, for a better life. They're not afraid to work for it.
But you do believe the border needs to be secured, right?
Yeah, yes, I do. But what's secure?
Secure means nobody can just willy-nilly come in the country without being challenged or stopped.
Well, yeah, I do believe that. But I don't think a wall's going to do it. People are always going to, try sneaking across the border. When I was a kid, I used to sneak into bars,
But would a wall not make a difference even a little?
It will make a difference to, wildlife and ecosystems.
So you keep out the Mexican deer, huh?
10-foot wall, I'll show you a 12-foot ladder.
You don't think a wall would make any difference at all?
Well, we have places where there's a wall, but I think just putting up a wall, I think it's bad optics, honestly.
You do realize a lot of countries around the world do use walls. Israel has a wall which they kind of negotiated on October 7th, but Israel has a wall. Great Wall of China used to have a Berlin Wall, which really was almost impenetrable. A lot of countries have walls.
Yeah, more countries have. There's no, let's say France doesn't have a wall, England doesn't have a wall. You don't even have to. Most countries to another.
Yeah. All right. Well, Kelly, I got to move it on your signals coming in and out, but I agree with you. In Western Europe, there's not a lot of walls between those countries, but they do have the EU, the European Union, so they don't mind folks coming in. But I do agree with you. In Western Europe, there's not a lot of walls. Kelly, appreciate you coming through.
Yeah, see you next.
Thank you. What was a gimmick? I don't quite get that. The wall was working because it was enforced by border officials. I kind of disagree with my last call, and I agree with that statement. While the wall would not be 100%, it is a hindrance. So as people would point out, well, they can still dig under or whatever the hell, they can climb over it. Yeah, but it allows time for officials to get to the scene. If you got sensors in the wall and somebody's drilling or climbing over it, it could trigger something that gives the Border Patrol enough time to drive to that spot. It would result in people getting caught. I don't know how great of a degree building a wall would make, but the idea that it would not make any difference at all, to me, in my opinion, seems disingenuous. I do believe a wall would have some effect. I found it kind of comical, though. She said it would make an effect with the wildlife. That's crazy. Imagine, imagine some wildlife, and I'm assuming this probably would happen, that has a nest or has young offspring, and they happen to be on the wrong side of the wall. They build a wall up, and now all of a sudden the mother can't get back to her offspring. That probably would happen. Looking in the comment section, a wall would be a deterrent, but it will not stop people from coming in, says Richard Chapman. I don't believe that's an absolute statement. I believe there's some people that would climb the wall and get in, even with a wall built, but it would stop some people. I'm sure it would. Simply put, if you got to climb a wall, that takes time to do. And if you got enough electronic surveillance, it would make you stand out. I mean, imagine having a wall 12 foot high or whatever distance height it is. You know those lasers you put at the bottom of your garage door to prevent the door from coming down and smashing your ass? There's an invisible beam going across so the door knows if something's breaking the beam. If you got those all along the top of the wall, right off the bat, anybody climbing off the wall is going to censor a beam that's broken, and they're going to know right where you are climbing the wall. I think that's simple technology that even, a guy sitting in his car could come up with. I do believe it would make a difference. I don't know how much of a difference, but there are going to be people getting caught. There are going to be some people getting caught. I'm just simply saying, you got the beam has been broken in sector 5 or whatever. Send a drone over. We got the heat signature. The drone is at 500-600 feet, so the immigrants can't do a damn thing to the drone. It has got the heat signature of them hiding by a cactus or whatever. You dispatch somebody to the area and they're apprehended. You're going to tell me the wall would have no effect at all? I disagree. I really disagree. I think that the technology exists nowadays that, but in sitting in 18, oh my God. The double engine, burp, you want to sit in 18 and strafe the immigrants. Wow, yikes. That's pure hatred, by the way. Republicans blocked the border bill, Trump said, to blame them. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Just like I personally believe Biden is letting immigrants stay in this country. By the way, the correction is they got to be here for 10 years. They got to be here for 10 years before they can stay. But there's a lot of folks that have been here that long. If you're married to an American, you've been here for 10 years, you got a path to citizenship or to residency. But yeah, at the end of the day, I do believe a wall would have some effectiveness. Between 0 and 100%, it's certainly not going to be 100%. It's not going to protect the border 100%, but it's going to be better than 0. I mean, if a woman is coming across the border, she got a 3 or 4 year old toddler with her, think she can easily climb the wall? I mean, you think the wall wouldn't slow her down at all, huh? Looking in the comments, and they have to be married to a U.S. citizen. Well, I don't think it'd be hard to find a U.S. citizen to get married to. Being here for 10 years without getting captured is the feat you need to accomplish first. Ramaswamy, or however you say his name, his dad is not an American citizen. You said Vivek Ramaswamy's dad is an American, he's not a citizen? Did he come legally, though? Did he come legally? The wall is currently being built. Yeah, well, the wall is Trump's idea, though. Even if it's being built, it goes to show Biden has realized his approach to the border was maybe too liberal. He's had to tweak it back in the direction of Trump. Starting to look like maybe Trump was more correct about border security than Biden, in my humble opinion, because Biden is not going further to the left. He's going further back to Trump policies. Illegal immigrants paid $13 billion in taxes last year, yet cost the U.S. $150 billion in expenses. Damn. I'd be curious to know how those numbers were derived. I'd be real curious. I mean, you're saying immigrants paid $13 billion in tax. Because first of all, let's be clear. There's no way to gauge accurately either number. I mean, when you say immigrants paid $13 billion in taxes, do you gauge the 90 cents or maybe the 40 cents they pay in taxes on a gallon of milk? How do you really know how much they paid exactly in taxes? And the same thing about costing Americans in tax money. It's interesting. We'd have to really go into that. That's a big, big disparity, though. Really big disparity. Trump ran his campaign on Mexico building a wall. He lied again. I don't agree totally with that. Trump's statement, I'm going to build a wall, Mexico's going to pay for it. And this is one of the times when I will say what Trump said was likely taken out of context. What Trump meant, in my personal analysis, is that he was going to correct the trade imbalance we had with Mexico. We're shipping way more shit. We're shipping way more stuff from Mexico to the U.S. than we are from the U.S. to Mexico. Mexico's on the winning end of a trade imbalance. I'm going to correct that, bring in a lot more money to the United States, and I'm going to use that to build a wall. Essentially meaning Mexico is paying for the wall. I believe that's what he meant, but folks made it sound like he's talking about just writing a damn check. I do believe Trump was taken out of context. But however, that's not something that just happens on the left. I think the same would apply to defund the police. They didn't mean just how all of the damn police officers broke. They meant we're going to reallocate money that may have went to buying military surplus to maybe training officers to deal with mentally ill suspects as opposed to just shooting their asses. But the right, no, they just gonna make all the police poor and broke. So both cases, I believe, was taken out of context. George W. started the border wall. All right, fair enough. All right, so anyhow, I do appreciate the 170,000 likes. Wow. Thank you for the participation and support of the program. 1,300 hours, 1 p.m. Central is when you'll find us. D019 says, Tim, are you Trumpsplaining? Trumpsplain, Biden'splain, Obama's-plain. If I hear somebody taken out of context, Stefan, yeah, thank you for the hat and mustache. I don't believe in supporting one side so much that I'll let the other side just be treated completely unfair. I think you can Trumpsplain or Obama's-plain or Biden's-plain a lot of shit. I think both sides get taken out of context when it will benefit the other side. So if that is Trumpsplaining, count me in. But real quick, I do appreciate you folks tapping the screen. 1 p.m. Central, 1,300 hours, Monday through Friday is where you'll find us. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. You know how the program is ran. It is MAGA friendly. Always is, always has been, always will be. Until then, I'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate you folks tuning in. And same on YouTube. Thank you for the support. Certainly staying with the program after it went down due to the whole device freezing or whatever the case may be. Nevertheless, it's your boy Tim. I'll see you tomorrow.